let's go ahead and get to this Bret Bielema, Shane Beamer thing. To start, face value, bigger goofball is.
Ooh, between Bret Bielema and Shane Beamer?
Yes.
I mean, Shane Beamer didn't stage a whole incident in Vegas just to marry some rando. So, like,
Rando.
I mean, in that regard, you gotta go.
She wasn't a rando. He knew her from Arkansas. They worked in the same office, and they pretended like they met each other in Vegas.
But still, like, staging a situation in Vegas, like.
Dude, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. If you're a 40-year-old guy that looks like Bret Bielema and suddenly you're making a lot of cash and you're feeling good about yourself and a mid-20s and you're single and a mid-20s co-ed that I think she was a volleyball player, that she suddenly wants to spend the rest of your life with her, you should probably make that move because I don't know that you're going to have a lot of chances moving forward.
And I'm sure she was with Bret Bielema for his looks. I'm sure.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, to me, he's like a Sean Connery. I've always said that. I've always said I feel like we have seen a young Sean Connery grow into a more mature Sean Connery right there coaching in the Midwest.
Yes. Brett, they look exactly the same, honestly. Bret Bielema is that classic case of, have you ever seen, there's these memes?
I misspoke. George Clooney.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Bret Bielema would be hot in Russia. So all right, so
in Russia.
All right, so here's what happened.
So the Germans.
Well, no, Russia has. There's a joke on Russia, like they all wear these really thick coats and they drink so much that, like, it's not till you get them in the bedroom that you know whether or not they got a hot body or not. If you know what I'm talking about. So, like, you just get to hide until then, basically.
Yeah, I think we've all had those surprises. All right. So Caleb, explain this Twitter war with me between Bielema and Beamer. By the way, Bielema would win in a fight.
So, in a injury timeout late in the third quarter, as Illinois beat South Carolina in the Citrus Bowl, Illinois' Jakeem Clark was being attended to by trainers near the South Carolina sideline, and Bret Bielema walked over to where Clark was. He then turned to the South Carolina team and staff and made a substitution signal with his arms, which was weird because, like, the joke, Bielema had basically been doing what Lane Kiffin does and using the whole, like, delay substitution things to take away tempo. And, like, so it looked like he was taunting Shane Beamer. And I'm just going to show you this clip real quick because in response, Shane Beamer went out of control in a way that, like, I'm sorry. Even if Shane Beamer had a point, you don't go out of control like this. But basically, let's just say, I'm going to move forward a little bit. You're going to see it. Look at Shane Beamer being held back, going at Bret Bielema, being held back by an assistant, having to be held back by refs. You see that?
Okay.
All because Bret Bielema allegedly taunted him.
I literally am considering firing that guy off That's on the verge of being out of control. And I know that he probably turned to that coach that's holding him back and said, hold me back, because that's what you do. And I've been a part of those situations before in Little League as a coach where I'm like, hold me back because I'm going to act like I'm going after it, but I really don't want to get in trouble. And so that to me is what that was. But I would definitely have a serious talking to with Shane Beamer if I'm the athletic director of South Carolina.
Yeah, I could see that. And then I want to give the rest of the story too. So Shane Beamer in his postgame goes, quote, "In all my years of being around football, I've never seen an opposing head coach come over to the opposing team's sideline and basically make a gesture towards the opposing head coach." Not saying what the gesture was, but Bret Bielema responds on Twitter.
It'd have to be like a bird or a crotch grab, wouldn't it? What other gesture could you make?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, what was
you can do those? You can do those subtly. You have to be careful now with HDTV. I mean, you can see if they say bleep you nowadays.
Yes, exactly. So then Bret Bielema responds on Twitter and goes, "This is the best explanation of everything that happened, and I couldn't agree more. Except I wasn't taunting, coach. I was telling the whole sideline that we knew the standard for football at every level for years had been disregarded moving forward." which I don't know what that's about. But
no, it is that the play of his team. Is that the bastardization of the downfield blocking rule? I have no idea what he's talking about.
I think it's a bastardization of the tempo that Bret Bielema has a problem with, which is why he was using gamesmanship to slow the game down.
Oh, good gravy! If you're still griping about that, you need to move. You need to grow up.
Yeah. So it's kind of like it's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know who the bigger loser is of these two. Honestly, they're both, what's funny is they both did good jobs coaching this year. So you got to give them credit on that. But like,
I thought of them as lower second tier coaches heading into the season. I would now call them upper second level coaches. Right. To me, those coaches are in the 15 to 30 range. Let's say the 10 to 30 range.
But to like, sometimes being a goofball, you can kind of say is great as a cheerleader. Cause like, okay, a lot of this stuff is not different than the way Bruce Pearl acted when he was at Tennessee. But Bruce Pearl was coach of the year and turned Tennessee into a national powerhouse. But if Bruce Pearl were having like 500 seasons, he would have looked like a clown, right?
Yep. You can't go out and paint your chest and act like you're Pat Summitt unless you're having success. I mean,
yeah. Otherwise, everybody would be like, "Why are you not focusing on your back?"
Like when Butch Jones said the red team and went down there and got the bejesus beat out of him.
Oh my God, the red team! Derek Mason saying the team out east for Tennessee. By the way, it's another this day. It's the 10-year anniversary of Tennessee's breaking a 6-year bowl win drought when they beat Iowa in the Citrus Bowl. Actually, 7-year, because Butch Jones really restored that program, guys. And I don't think y'all appreciate the decent, fine, generous man Butch Jones is, who just won a bowl game at Arkansas State. And okay, I'm kidding. But yes, I think they both. It just seems like grandstanding by both of them on this. And like, doesn't Shane Beamer seem like the type? I always laugh at these type of coaches that like to make really big deals out of certain things that no one else is paying attention to, as if that actually matters in the context of the sport. Like when Nick Saban lost his, press conference rants, they were usually about legitimate things related to college football, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. But like Shane Beamer saying I was taunted by Bret Bielema. So what?
Yeah, I don't know if you've been on the sideline, but it's because of the crest of the field, it's really hard to see the opposing coach. I don't know that if you could even do a crotch grab, if you'd be able to see it. Seriously, you can just see from like the belly button up on some of these fields. I've been on some fields of the crest is so bad you can barely see the other guy's head on the other.
Oh my gosh. The only coach who I remember acting like this, complaining about random unimportant things, was Dave's favorite coach, Lou Holtz. Who
I'll tell you what, I think that felt like to me more of a Bobby Knight thing. And Bobby Knight had a championship that he won. I don't think you can act like this without some championship pedigree.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because like Bobby Knight didn't. It's one thing to have a temper problem and lose it on players not performing because you want to win. Bobby Knight would lose it on like, didn't he get mad because some person referred to him as Knight and not Coach Knight? And it was like,
yes, it was after he was put on double secret probation, and a guy came up to him and a student said, "What's up, Knight?" And I think that was the final straw why he got fired. I could not see Shane Beamer losing it like that. I think that just then he had the guy to hold him back. You turn around to a guy and you say, "Hold me back." Do you think Beamer's more for show? Because let's face it, maybe he's got a little short man syndrome going on. But do you think it's more for show, or do you think he truly has a fiery side that he has trouble controlling, like Bruce Banner?
I think he likes to deflect from things happening sometimes on the field to get his fan base animated about something else.
You're so on it.